All right, I'll let everybody in now.
Yep, we're good to go.
All right, Araceli, you're recording, and then you want to make an announcement about the
Yes, I will.
translation. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, as soon as everybody starts jumping in, I will make the announcement. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our fourth town hall, where we will be talking about how we're maintaining safe and secure schools. This session will be facilitated in English. So I'm going to make an announcement on how to use the interpretation feature. So I'll do it in English and then I'll do it in Spanish. So if you need to listen to this session in a different language, you need to go to the interpretation icon that's at the bottom of your screen. Once you click on there, you need to click on the language of your preference and also click on where it says mute original audio so that you're not listening to both languages and it's easier that way. So en español, si necesitan escuchar en español, pueden ir al icono que está abajo, el que es como un globito que dice interpretation. Cuando hagan clic ahí, van a elegir el idioma español, Spanish, y también van a apagar el audio original. Pongan mute original audio para que puedan escucharlo solamente en español y no en los dos idiomas. Okay. And then another announcement, we will have a session at the end for questions. If throughout the presentation you want to ask questions, you can use the Q&A feature that's at the bottom of your screen. You see it, it's a little square, it has a question mark on it. If you click on there, you'll be able to type a question in, and then our team will be answering those questions as we go along. But again, we will have some time at the end to be able to ask questions. You'll be able to unmute yourself and ask questions at the end of the presentation. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hernandez to get us started.
All right. Thank you, Araceli. Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Under these circumstances, we appreciate you coming together as one community to support our students, our families, our staff, and our schools as we maintain a safe and secure schools. You'll be hearing from a few of our staff members here, and we want to really focus our attention and our work on how we are working on this together. We are a community school district. Every one of our schools is a safe place. We focus on the heart of our schools, which are our students, our staff, and our families, and we're connected to work together, to expand, of course, opportunities and amazing opportunities that our students will have, but also to address the needs that our community has. And so with that, we are going to be discussing how are we maintaining a safe and secure protocols. You're going to hear from leaders of the district office. We're going to talk about resources. We will share who to contact at schools, and we will talk about how important it is to take care of each other and ourselves before we can take care of others. With that, I want to welcome you and introduce you to our Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services, Dr. Jaren Freed, soon to be our superintendent in a few months. Again, welcome, and Dr. Freed, it's all yours.
Thank you, Carlos Sanchez, and good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here with all of you. And I want to start by saying that despite the nature of our conversation and the provisions we're going to be sharing tonight, I, along with our entire team and our entire staff, we are excited for the new school year that's upon us. There is something about the first few weeks of school, the fresh notebooks, the clean hallways, the hum of possibility. It definitely reminds us of why we do this work. We have an incredible year ahead. I think one that's filled with opportunities to lift our student voice, that will deepen community partnerships and continue to build the kind of schools where every single student feels seen, valued, heard, and feels safe. And when I look at this image on the screen, that is one of the most essential things that we're committed to providing, right? As we move forward together, our commitment to the whole child, both academically along with social-emotionally, remains at the heart of everything we do. This is our community school approach. As we welcome our students and families back, we know that part of creating the sense of belonging, that means having strong, clear systems in place that protect our schools and our communities. And today, we're going to spend a little bit more time reviewing the protocols we developed in response to immigration-related concerns. These are designed to ensure that our external threats, if any external threats arise, our students and staff know exactly what to do and that they feel supported. We approach this work with great care. We know that these situations can be deeply personal and emotionally charged. Our priority is to keep students learning, families informed, and staff prepared with dignity, discretion, and compassion. It is important to take a moment to thank our ed staff team. I want to take, while everyone was at summer break, our team was coming in, their dedication, their commitment to you and to our community to really establish these protocols and procedures that go above and beyond the policies that were already established by our board. You already met Carlos Hernandez, our Director of Community Schools and Family and Community Engagement. Araceli Chavez, you'll meet shortly, our Family and Community Engagement Specialist Manager. We have Kenny Perez on the call. He's our community school manager. Robert Saldivar's on the call. He's our executive director for educational services. You also have our interpreters on the call, our faces, some of our community school coordinators on the call. You might see some of our principals and assistant principals on our call, counselors and other staff. Again, while you were at summer, our team was hard at work doing this work on behalf of those that we serve, you. So let's begin to walk through what's in place and, more importantly, why it matters, not just as procedures, but as a part of our shared responsibility to stand with and for our community. Okay, Carlos, the next slide. Yeah. So we are fortunate. We are so blessed and fortunate that we have a very loving and very compassionate board of trustees. They're very proactive in what they do. They have been proactive in helping to develop a resolution and a board policy that governs and guides the important we're going to be addressing tonight. I specifically want to thank each of them for their vision, their leadership, their commitment to our students, families, and community, and their courage. First, we have our board president, Brian O'Neill. We have clerk of the board, trustee Jessica Guerrero, trustee Anne Marie Randall Trejo, trustee Ron Hoshi, and certainly last but not least, trustee Catherine Smith. You go to the next slide, Carlos. You're going to see our board policy. This policy provides great details regarding the protocols and procedures that sites are expected to follow should immigration enforcement come to our school campus. I'm going to share with you what this looks like, and given that it's deeply connected to keeping our campuses, our students, and our staff safe. All right, so the next slide, we're going to start talking about the specific provisions. So first, let's talk about our commitment to a safe environment. So our board resolution, the board policy that I just shared with you, reaffirms our district's dedication to ensuring a safe and welcoming educational environment for all students, irrespective of their immigration status. Our board policy on immigration enforcement outlines protocols and procedures that sites are expected to follow and have implemented. We have trained our administrators both during the early weeks of winter last year, the spring of last year, and of course the summer in preparation for the start of this school year. Our administrators have met with and continue to meet with their respective staff with a greater focus on training their office staff regarding the implementation of these board policy and expected protocols. Now, we have consulted with local law enforcement, and we've also consulted with community partners, such as our Orange County Immigration Coalition. They have been tremendous partners, thought partners with us, and have helped us to establish and strengthen what we have in place right now. We also have a right, we want to emphasize the rights to an education. Our board policy speaks to that every child has the right to a free and appropriate public education, regardless of their immigration status, and no student will be denied enrollment or access to services based on citizenship or immigration concerns. Also, it talks about privacy and information protection. It's really important to us that our district or our site staff will not collect, nor will we disclose any information about a student's privacy or a family's immigration status. We will protect your student's privacy and information. If you look at the next slide, also on our board policy, we talk about our response to immigration enforcement. So it's really important to understand that only a court order or a warrant that is signed by a judge is what we can and must be honored. ICE warrants will not be honored. If immigration officers request access to a school site or to student records, staff will follow our district protocols, including notifying the superintendent or the designee, which myself, Robert Saldivar, who's on this call, our Director of Student Services, our legal counsel, we all serve as designees to interface with our sites should this happen. Now, staff have been trained on how to respond to these requests and ensuring the rights and privacy of our students and our families are protected. We recently met with the chief of police from Anaheim and along with some of the other chiefs who are very clear that they are not working with our immigration enforcement. Now, for the emergency preparedness, sites will be preparing students and staff this fall in the event challenges arise on or near our campuses around immigration. Lockdown drills will be practiced regularly. Matter of fact, I know a couple schools actually did lockdown drills today. We will be notifying families when lockdown drills take place. Mr. Solivar, our executive director, he's going to be speaking more to this in a bit. We also have been working with our athletic directors to work with their coaches on protocols and expectations. We have been working with our transportation office to make sure that when they're picking our students up from school or bringing them home, that they're also keeping our students safe. Just know that the protocols we have in place for our campus are expected to be followed on our buses. Our buses will not open up their doors for immigration enforcement. They will continue to keep their doors closed. We've also worked with our athletic directors. So, for example, with cross country, we talked to our coaches about making sure that they are more proactive in keeping their athletes safe while on campus. So you'll notice now that our cross country runners, as an example, they're not going out and running out in the neighborhoods like they might normally do. Now they're running around campus or around the track so they have better supervision. Right? We're also talking again with our transportation department. So when they drop athletes off after games, to drop them off in campus rather than just in front of the campus to ensure that greater protection. We also want to make sure that we're doing our part to keep our students and families informed of any activity that we are made aware of to keep our community safe. So, for example, when students are walking home after school, if we get word that there may be activity taking place near the campus, we will make sure to make that announcement and inform our students and our staff of what's taking place near the school. So students are then encouraged to, if they are walking home, to walk home in a different direction. We will also make these kinds of announcements for our families so they are prepared in terms of what may or may not be happening in our community. Now, families, you're encouraged to keep updated emergency contact information. So I know you just completed registration not too long ago, but you're more than welcome to continue updating your emergency contacts, adding as many contacts as you would like, so that way in the event you're not available, we can reach out to other members of your family or friends that you've identified for us to be able to arrange pickup for your student. Now, families are also encouraged that in case of emergency to update and have a contingency plan. Part of this talks about the caregiver affidavit. That means that you can identify someone that you want to serve on your behalf if you're not able to, and that allows our students to have their rights educationally and their medical rights protected and supported by whoever you have identified. Now, families and students, all students can do this, but particularly if you are a student or a family who is undocumented or you feel nervous that something may happen, we would encourage you to fill out that caregiver affidavit. Again, it does establish residency for the student, and it gives permission to whoever you identify to be the caregiver to make medical decisions and educational decisions on your behalf if you're not available. I also want to mention for students who are in our adult transition program, these are our older students who have graduated with us but continue to work, whether it's at Hope or some of our other high schools in that program, the adult transitions. I know that some of you may be worried because students go out into the community to do work-based learning. We have procedures and training that we've done with our adult transition staff, both classified and certificated. We also have contingency plans so that way if a family is not wanting to go out, they can continue to do that work maybe at Hope. So we have plans in place. They have been trained, and they're going to be doing the same training with our students and their families before they begin to go out into the community. That's something that was also really proactive, and I want to thank Lauren Klasker. I know she's not on the call, but she was a big part of that. And I'm just recalling that I don't think I mentioned Adele Cruz. I know she's on the call. She's also been a big part of the work that we've done as well. Lastly, the support for families. The district is working hard to provide resources for our families. Be sure to check out our website for all the most up-to-date resources. You'll get the link later in this presentation from Mr. Perez or from Ms. Chavez. Also, as needed, we will continue to host town halls like the Know Your Rights town hall, or much like the one we're doing tonight in terms of making sure you're aware of what we are doing and what we have in place to ensure our campuses are safe and secure. Our school counselors, social workers, school psychologists, and other staff are also readily available to support students experiencing stress or anxiety related to immigration concerns. Again, Dr. Cruz, who's on this call, will be speaking to this later tonight. And we also have educational opportunities and options for students or families who are just feeling fearful and may not want to bring their student to school physically. So you're going to hear more about that tonight in terms of what those options look like and what you need to do if you're interested in pursuing one of those options. And then the reporting and accountability piece. Just know that as a part of our accountability, Any incident involving immigration enforcement on our school grounds is documented and reported to the appropriate authorities to ensure transparency and adherence to our district policy. Schools have also been given templates on messaging so they can communicate promptly with their community parents and families. Now that I've just shared with you the protocols and procedures that we have in place that are called out in our board policies, I want you to know that we have gone above and beyond. What we saw in the spring is that at the time when school year was ending last year, ICE agents were being more compliant in following the Constitution, right? They were speaking to people, not just grabbing people. But what we've seen of late is far more aggressive behavior, where ICE agents have not been compliant and they're not following their established protocols and expectations. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Saldivar, our executive director. He's going to talk a little bit more about the additional steps that we have taken as a district to ensure that not only do we follow the protocols that I've just shared with you, but to go even above and beyond that to provide greater assurance to our families, students, and staff that we have the protocols in place to make sure our students and families and our staff are safe. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over now to Mr. Saldivar.
Thank you, Dr. Fried. And I'm actually going to turn over to Ms. Araceli Chavez for a quick announcement.
So again, this session is being facilitated in English with interpretation into Spanish, Korean, and Vietnamese. I'm going to make this announcement in Spanish real quick. Para los que nos están acompañando, que quizás llegaron un poco tarde, si quieren escuchar esta sesión en español, tienen que ir al icono que está abajo de su pantalla, que tiene el globito que dice Interpretation. Tienen que hacer clic ahí, elegir el idioma Spanish, español. Y también tienen que apagar el audio original, mute original audio. Y así podrán escuchar esta presentación en español. ¿Ok? Gracias. Thank you, Mr. Saldivar.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, so if we could go to the next slide, please. So what happens when ICE shows up? If they were to show up to any one of our campuses in our district, just as Dr. Fried mentioned earlier, we have pre-established protocols that our staff have been trained on. There's been a lot of extensive pre-work. I know Dr. Fried reviewed some of that pre-work, and I will also go through some of that pre-work that we have done in the next few slides. But one of the first things that our staff will do, our admin team will place our schools in a level 2 lockdown. Whatever site that the agents are showing up to, that site will go into a level 2 lockdown. This would allow us to secure our campus rapidly. It would obviously be done in an abundance of caution and allow sites to quickly secure the campus while they while they go through all the proper steps to verify and assess the situation. Some of those steps I'll explain on the next slide. A level 2 lockdown also allows for instruction in the classroom to continue. And so it ensures the safety of everyone on campus while ensuring normal business to continue to be conducted in our classrooms. Okay, so it keeps our kids safe, it locks on our campus, but instruction in the classroom continues. If we could go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so again, some of these pre-established protocols for engaging with ICE agents that our staff have been trained on. We've gone through extensive trainings. Again, a lot of pre-work that has been done to help build the capacity of our administrators, our classified staff that are, obviously supporting our offices, and then all other staff. So the first thing that our admin team and staff will do is contact district and police. So that will happen immediately. That way we have the heads up that we have ICE agents on campus, and we're aware. So whether it's myself, as Dr. Fried said, myself, Mr. Carlos Hernandez, Dr. Fried, we work with our legal counsel to ensure that we're following proper protocols and the proper steps to verify proper documentation or proper identification of the officials. We're verifying versus, to see if they are who they say they are. And then we're also requesting to see a signed warrant from a judge. That is the only way that they would have access to any student on our campus. Now, just a point of clarification, as I know this might be a question that some of you might be pondering. If they don't have a signed warrant from a judge, then they are not allowed to access our campus. They're not allowed to go any further. They are not allowed to see or talk to any one of our students. If they do have a signed warrant from a judge for a particular student, then they will still not be allowed to access our campus. That student would be brought to them. They would be obviously escorted into a private office to protect the privacy of the student, and then whatever business they have there with the student, that would be conducted in that private office. Okay. Now, what happens if our ICE agents are not being allowed to come onto campus because they don't have a signed warrant from a judge? And they're still forcing their ways onto our campus. They're wanting to. They're, as Dr. Free said, they haven't, as we've seen on the news and in the media, they haven't really been following, the laws that govern their behavior. So if that were to happen, then we would immediately elevate to a level 3 lockdown. Going into a level 3 lockdown would, if the situation becomes a little more serious, it would mean that all movement stops on our campus. Everything is locked down, including instruction in the classroom. At that point, we would ensure that we secure the campus. No one is whether like in a level 2 lockdown, you're still able to move from a classroom to a restroom if need be with supervision. In a level 3 lockdown, no movement is permitted. So all classrooms and offices are locked down. These decisions are obviously made with student safety first, student safety that in mind, and making sure that we are protecting and taking care of all of our students. If we go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so now what about communication? How is it that we communicate to our students and families and staff? Just so that you all know, during any type of emergency, our sites will keep all of our students, families, and staff informed. In this particular type of a situation, we've developed some templates. We've worked with our sites to create shared communication templates to use in a situation like this one. It's been a part of the training, so every site has those templates and knows, depending on the situation, which template to utilize to then communicate out to our students, to our staff, and to our community. But we've also asked our sites to schedule multiple lockdown drills so that they're prepared to start the year. So typically in any given year, this is something that they're doing anyways, or conducting, practice runs for evacuation, duck and cover, lockdowns. But because of the uniqueness of the situation we're in, we are asking our sites to conduct additional lockdown drills so that our staff, students, and all of our folks on campus feel prepared. If we hear about ICE activity somewhere down the street, locally near one of our schools, then our staff and our admin teams will proactively communicate with students and families through campus announcements, through Parent Square, through the PA, and things like that. So let's just, as a hypothetical, let's assume that on any given day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day it might be, sometime before the school day ends, maybe around 1 o'clock, 1:30, we receive communication from a community member or a parent that there is possibly ICE activity down the street. They're setting up a post, maybe at a near a local church down the street, near intersections A and B, right? We receive that. We would then immediately turn around and provide some type of communication to our staff and students, and to our families as well. And an example would be something like this: you would receive some type of messaging or communication from your site indicating that we want to let our students and families know that there are reports of activity going on near the intersections of Street A and Street B. So please stay away from that area for today. So again, we're not going to call out the fact that there might be ICE agents there, because potentially we haven't even confirmed that. We've received communication from someone within the community. Obviously, we're on our campus, so we haven't had a chance to go out and see it for ourselves. So we would send something a little more general, like what I just provided, just informing folks to stay away from these intersections because of reported activity. So that term, reported activity, might signify that there's ICE agents near that intersection. If we can go on to our next slide, please. We're also working closely with our community partners and staying in close contact with them. We obviously have some trusted community partners or organizations who are ready to support right outside of our schools during these moments. This includes groups like the Orange County Immigration Coalition, which is made up of attorneys, faith-based organizations, and nonprofits that specialize in immigration support and resources. They are obviously available to provide a peaceful presence and connect families to the resources that they may need. So we might have them show up if we have agents on campus. And again, their main goal is to provide a peaceful presence and then connect our families to resources. It's obviously all part of our broader commitment, as Mr. Hernandez had mentioned earlier, to our community schools approach and creating a safe, loving, and connected community, not just within our schools, but also within the neighborhoods, immediate neighborhoods that we serve. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Kenny Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Saldivar. First off, thank you, all of you have taken the time out of very busy days to join us here on this evening. We do acknowledge that I know we've seen some questions come up and I've seen some hands being raised. Please note that there will be a time for us to be able to answer your questions. It'll be towards the end of the presentation, but we do appreciate you and we do acknowledge you. So thank you for that. Just know that we are, as you know, Dr. Freed mentioned, we are as a team, as a school district, as your school district, we are here to serve you and to support you throughout the various needs that service in our community. Our team has been responding to needs all summer long, and they continue to do so. And we strongly encourage you to reach out to your family and community engagement specialist or your community school coordinators. There are family centers on our campus or community school resource centers that are available for you. Should you need any resource in regards to food or self-care items or need to be connected to mental health support, I know Dr. Adela Cruz is going to mention a little bit more, talk a little bit more about the supports that are available and share some resources, but we have those centers that are there for you, for our families, and know that we are here to support you and to provide you with any connection that you might need. Now, let's say that you are also, in need of academic support or alternative options. Should you feel that the current status quo isn't serving your student right now, please reach out to your school counselor, and they will be able to share with you any option, other options that are available for you and your family that might work better during this time. But know that there are options, know that there is support, and we are here to serve you. This is your school district, this is our community, and we are more than happy and ready to support you as needs surface. So just reach out and let us know, and we'll be there to support. Ms. Chavez.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. We already covered a lot of information in the previous slides, but as a reminder, I know Dr. Freed mentioned this, but it's really important that as parents, we have a family plan in case we were to, not be available to pick up our children from school. One of the things that you can do is add emergency contacts to your child's emergency contact card in the registrar's office. So, if there's anybody that, you trust to pick up your children from school in the event that, you can't be there, please add these names and numbers. It doesn't matter how many you want to add, just come into the registrar's office and they can help with that. Also, as part of a family preparedness plan, make sure that you have important numbers and legal documents available for your children to be able to find in the event that you're not there. So, phone numbers to their doctors, to, important people that, they need to connect with, neighbors, family members, legal documents like their, if they have an ID or their passports, their immunization records, things like that, that they would be readily available for them to find in the event that you're not there to provide these documents for them. These are all just part of having a family plan in place. And it's not just for, immigration purposes, but really it's a good practice to have in place in the event that we're not there for whatever reason. We can, be in a car accident or, not be available to pick up our children. So we just want to make sure that we have the appropriate numbers in place so that our kids can go home with somebody that they trust. We also have the red cards that we've been giving away for a few months now. We continue to have these available for you to use. These are the cards that can read your rights in the event that you are, stopped by an ICE agent. Like Dr. Freed mentioned, we know that recently ICE agents have not, been abiding by the law. And so, but in any case, these red cards do tell you what to say in the event that you are, pulled over. These are your rights, right? To remain silent, to not sign anything. So if you need any of these red cards, we have them in multiple languages. So please just stop by your resource centers at your schools or at the district office. We have these available for you. And the next slide, Kenny. Another important, thing that we want to make sure that you have in place is what we call a caregiver affidavit. And so that is a form that you can complete that will tell the school who can come and have educational rights for your child in the event that you're not there. And so it releases some rights, not as much as the power of attorney letter, which is different, and I'll talk about in a moment. But the caregiver affidavit does give the right to a family member or somebody that you trust to be able to come and pick up your child from school, sign documents from school, be able to, sign permission slips and other things like that. Now, if you want to take it a step further, then you would need a power of attorney letter, which does have to be notarized. And that power of attorney letter does release your rights as a parent. So legally, if that power of attorney letter does become in effect and does become active, the person that you name on that power of attorney letter now will have the rights of your child as it relates to education, health, and anything legal. So they would be able to sign off and make decisions for your child. If you are in need of completing a power of attorney letter, please connect with us. There are many clinics in the community where notary publics are helping with the completion of these letters at no cost. We have dates for some clinics that are coming up. And so we can get you, connected to these community organizations to help with those. If it's just a caregiver affidavit, you could come to our schools and the district office and we can help with those. Your registrars also should have a copy of these documents in the registrar's office, so you can complete it there. We already talked about having, phone numbers readily available, but also the numbers to your legal attorneys. If you're already working with an immigration attorney, it's important that you have those numbers somewhere, visible. And if you're not, then you might want to think about consulting with an attorney. Also, the numbers to your local consulate offices. It's really important that if you, were to be detained by ICE, that you contact your consulate office as soon as possible to receive any support available through their offices. And then lastly, like, Kenny mentioned, we are available to support you. So please visit our family resource centers. Every school in our district has a family resource center and a FACES that can help you, aside from our community school coordinators, which we have at 13 of our sites. So again, we are here, we're prepared to support you. And so please come to us if you need anything. Lastly, we do have an immigration website on our district landing page. There's a link that will take you to this webpage where we are uploading a variety of resources, including a list of trusted immigration attorneys that we have vetted through our partners. So if you're in need of finding an attorney, go to our website, find that list, and communicate or contact one of those attorneys on that list. There's also a variety of resources that we offer, as well as instructions on creating your family preparedness plan and your Know Your Rights presentations. We are recording these town halls, and so we will be uploading the links to these presentations to this link so that you're able to share with others who maybe couldn't make it today. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Adela Cruz, who will be talking to us about the supports for mental health. So Dr. Cruz.
You're muted, Dr. Cruz.
Thank you for that. I just said something brilliant and nobody heard. Good evening. So happy that we're here. You guys are hearing lots of great information, and I really truly hope that you're doing well today. So today's presentation, as parents and caregivers, we want to say that you know your child better than anyone else. You understand their fears, their strengths, and what helps them feel safe. In this conversation, talking to children during difficult times, it's about telling you what, it's not about telling you what to say. It's more about offering some guidance and support as you navigate these uncertain moments and difficult conversations with love and confidence with your children. Our goal is to share some tools and some talking points and resources to help you have calm, honest, and empowering conversations with children. Again, difficult, but in a calm way, and hopefully they feel secure and connected and understood. So here you see a list of different domains when we're talking to children. So I'm going to give you some examples. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you also have a link, and as Ms. Chavez said, these are linked in a resource page, right? Araceli, they're linked, right? So just some examples. What does it look like to be honest but gentle? We might say to our child, you might hear, for example, if I'm talking to my child, I would say, hey, Adela, you might hear or see things that are scary. I want you to know we are doing everything we can to stay together and to keep each other safe. What do we say when we want to reassure safety and love? We might say something like, you're deeply loved no matter what happens. There are people who care about you. Sharing the family plan, as Ms. Chavez very well articulated, that it's important for children to know, not just that we're keeping them safe, but for us to give them some information. So it helps them feel a little bit safer. And that one, it depends on the age of the child. Obviously, the younger the children are, they don't need to know too much detail, but the older they are, it benefits them from knowing more detail. And then it's important to invite them and to share their questions and leave the door open. They may not be ready to share in that moment, but it's always important to say to them, I'm here to talk whenever you want to, and we'll just listen. I may not have all the answers, but I'm here just to listen. Empower them to be able to give responses to others as they navigate their world and they're hearing a lot of things and people may be asking them questions, or we want to empower our children to be able to say things like, well, I'm not ready to talk about this right now, or I don't feel comfortable talking about this right now, or I feel safe with this person, I'd rather talk to this person. We want to be able to empower them to feel confident about saying these things and give them permission. Sometimes, kids feel like they have to say things that they don't feel comfortable with. So if you keep, once you access that document, you'll be able to see more examples on kind of a guidance on what to say. Araceli, could you go to the one that's titled How to Talk to Your Child About Information or News? Keep going. These are just more examples of what you might want to say right here. When it comes to social media, and this is true, anything related to a crisis, or something big, it's important to monitor what children are hearing, especially younger children. It scares them because kids always times can't discern what's real and what's not. For older children, it's always recommended that you sit with them if they're hearing news and you help them process and help them ask questions. The less children hear in terms of what's happening out in the community, the less afraid they are. And that's true. And I can understand that's difficult to mitigate in social media, but talking about it with them is also helpful. So how do you know if a child needs help? If you want to move the slide along, please. These are just more examples of what to say, how to, connect with kids, but when to consider help. Keep going. Here. Right there, right there, right there. So these are some examples of what we might see when that perhaps leads us to now we're having something more serious. This is not just a normal fear and anxiety to an adverse situation, but now this is something more. And these are some of the things that you might see. As you have heard, we have our counselors, our social workers, school psychologists at all of our schools that can help navigate the world of mental health for you. If you talk to a teacher, anybody on campus, they'll be able to redirect you to services that we have on campus. And they're comprehensive services on school and in the community. So please feel free to connect with somebody at school. If you don't know, you don't know. That means you may want to ask somebody and talk to somebody. So feel free to connect with our team members at the school sites. All right. Any questions you may have, please let us know. Thank you, Araceli. that concludes my section. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Cruz. We're going to get right into the question and answer session. Just a couple other slides. I wanted you to know that we are, as things come up, we want to continue to support safe and secure schools. And so we have developed these graphics using some of the resources that are in our community. And we are printing these, actually already printed these posters. These will be posted in the entries of our schools. And so this is a safe and secure school in different languages. You see it in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and Korean. It says that, you know, as Dr. Freed and Mr. Saldivar described, that we will not, you know, allow unauthorized entry without a judicial warrant. And if they don't have a judicial warrant, we will ask them to leave. You know, these are things so that we can continue to support peace and a safe and secure environment. Now, will that stop anyone who wants to come in? Obviously, no, and that's what the lockdowns are for. But I hope we can prevent some of those folks that think that there's an understanding that, oh, you know, schools are open. They are not. They are not, and this is what is going to be posted in our offices. These are the lockdown levels. Again, Dr. Freed, Mr. Saldivar described the different levels. These again are being printed in different languages. So when you walk into the Family and Community Engagement Center or you walk into the office, you will see these posted. It is clear and it helps everyone understand when they hear level 1, what does that mean? When they hear level 2, what does that mean? And when it's level 3, this is you know, an imminent threat. And so again, just for help, when we know things, we feel better, and this is knowledge that will help us feel more at peace and at ease, that our students are safe and secure. Okay. All right, and at this moment, we are going to open it up for questions. I don't see any in the chat. And no, Araceli, if you can facilitate anyone's you know, hands being raised.
Yeah, so at this moment, if you would like to ask a question, just click on the little hand, the raise hand. We will go ahead and unmute you, and then you can ask the question. And yes, I think we had a few questions in the chat, but we've been answering those as we've moved along. All right, and with that, Ms. Columba Garcia, you can ask your question. Ms. Columba Garcia, are you able to unmute? Can you able to help us unmute her or him?
Oh, looks like she's there. She's good.
Okay.
Wait, where did she go?
Ay, ¿dónde está?
Oh, there she is.
Ok. ¿Ahora sí me escucha?
Sí, sí le escuchamos.
Mi pregunta es para, si no me equivoco, ¿está una persona del distrito?
Sí, tenemos aquí todos de aquí somos del distrito.
Ay, pero ya no la escucho yo.
Ok. Todos aquí
No
somos
sé
del
qué pasó.
distrito.
¿Qué hice?
No, sí la escuchamos.
Bueno, lo importante que me escuche, yo no los escucho a ustedes ahora, algo le moví. Ok, mi pregunta es, hemos estado, bueno, yo en lo personal les mandé un correo electrónico pidiendo de su ayuda si nos podían ayudar con el transporte del bus aquí en la calle La Balsam, porque pues la verdad a mí en lo personal me da pendiente llevar a mi hija, me da miedo una redada, que nos paren o cualquier cosa. Ahora sí que ni manejando me siento segura. Y pues si fuera posible que nos mandaran un bus para ayudarnos y pues por lo menos ya no me preocuparía de poder llevar a mi hija y que ella regrese con bien, porque me ofrecieron el pase del autobús, pero no se me hace pues que mi hija esté a salvo, porque ahora hasta se van a estar llevando hasta los jóvenes y no se me hace seguro porque ella tendría que caminar un poco. Entonces, eso es mi pregunta. Y lástima que no los puedo escuchar.
Es que está en el canal de español y creo que, pero ya ahorita nos va a poder escuchar. Voy a traducir su pregunta y luego voy a dejar que el señor Hernández le dé una respuesta. So her question is regarding transportation. Her child does not qualify for bus transportation. because she is not in our, special education program, but they live in an area that's far away. So her daughter would have to take the OCTA bus to get to school. But given the circumstances and knowing that OCTA does have to pull over and allow ICE agents to board our buses, what other options does she have? Are we able to provide transportation? And so I know that we are working with our transportation department, so I'm going to allow Mr. Hernandez to respond to that.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Saldivar unmuted because he's ready. I think he has a few, he's been directing conversations with transportation. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, so thank you for your question, Colombia. That's a good question. We are working to see if what options we have with transportation. I know that we just requested a meeting earlier this afternoon with our assistant superintendent of business who oversees transportation. Dr. Freed will be in that meeting as well. Our assistant superintendent of educational services, soon to be superintendent, and then Mr. Carlos Hernandez will be in that meeting as well. So we're hoping to get closer to an answer soon. I know that Dr. Nien, who is our assistant superintendent of business overseeing transportation, has been looking into it. And so we just asked one of our senior administrative assistants earlier this afternoon to go ahead and follow up and schedule that meeting so we could hopefully get to a point where we have an answer. And if it's a yes, then that's awesome, and you'll hear from us soon. And if it's a no, maybe we'll have some other viable solutions, options, and so on and so forth. I hope that the schools have reached out to you, because we've been made aware of those emails, and our understanding was that our school sites were reaching out to the parents to keep you up to date in terms of the fact that we're looking into it, and we're hoping to have an answer soon.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Saldivar. There is another question regarding cross-country students that are out running in the community, specifically at Cypress High School. And so knowing that there was already a student that was arrested yesterday in LA Unified, they were out in the community. So what can we do to guarantee that they're going to be safe if they're out running, during cross-country practice?
Dr. Freed had mentioned earlier that we had worked with our athletic directors over the summer we met with all of our athletic directors and went through some protocols that obviously expectations in terms of how to respond with these immigration concerns. One of them being, obviously what our coaches can do. A unique sport for us is cross country in the sense that they do run outside of the school grounds because of their type of training and the distance that they're trying to train for. However, we did ask our athletic directors to work with our cross-country coaches and urge them to keep those trainings within the parameters of the school ground. So running on the track or obviously the perimeter of the school, but inside of the school. We have a principals meeting tomorrow, and it's on our updates agenda to remind our principals to work with their athletic directors and all of their coaches, but in terms of the protocols when ICE agents, if they happen to show up on campus or around campus during practice times, after school, when they're coming back from games, so on and so forth. And we will make sure to remind our principals to remind our coaches, especially our cross-country coaches, to keep those trainings within the school grounds for the time being.
Thank you for that. Anybody else who would like to unmute and ask a question? Please raise your hand and we'll go ahead and unmute you. Or you can type your question in the chat. While we do that, Kenny, are you able to share the resource document that we have that we'll be sharing with folks? Okay. So if you scan that QR code, that will take you to a document that we have put together that has all kinds of links of everything that we've talked about today. You can find Dr. Cruz's presentation, her slides in English and Spanish. You can find them there. You'll also find the slides that we just presented in a couple of different languages there as well as the Know Your Rights presentation. We have the lockdown procedures there linked for you so that you can take a look at those and read those on your own. We have the resources on how to talk to your children. And then also the frequently asked questions document that you can see of questions that have come up multiple times that you'll have access for. So again, scan that QR code and it'll take you to that document. And I believe we might have one more question. No, are we good? Okay.
We
So,
do.
oh,
Are
we
we
do.
able to unmute her, Kenny? The Rosa, she has to be unmuted.
Yep.
Thank
she's good
you.
now.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I was in the meeting in the morning as well, and my question and my concern is still the gates being open. But after I did my first question, I was muted and I couldn't do the second one. So my son is doing water polo and he's also going to be doing tennis. Most of the times when we go to pick him up, the door is still open. So I would really, really like to ask you guys to please enforce that the doors need to be locked for our students to be safe inside campus. Normally there's no one else there. They get out between 5:30 and 6 p.m. So it's only parents that are in the parking lot waiting for our students. So anybody can walk in at that time. And um, the custodians, the securities, they're already gone. So there's only that trainer, the water polo person that is there with them. So I would really, really like to ask you guys to please make us feel comfortable leaving our students there and being secured, being inside the campus.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. We will definitely bring your concerns. Again, we have a principals meeting tomorrow, so this is something we could, a very important question, what you're bringing up. So we will discuss this with our principals and figure out what's the best way to address this. In terms of making sure that our gates after school hours are locked and secured. But then at the same time, also having other options for students to get out. Identifying those options, push bar gates and things like that, so that kids know how to get out in case of an emergency or obviously when practice is finished, the coaches can always go head over to the gates and unlock them. But we will bring that up with our principals and discuss that further and figure out what our next steps are. We appreciate it.
And on a similar note, this morning, we also talked about being able to drop off your children early and have them come into our school site. So I know that Dr. Freed, you talked about all high schools, have 0 periods. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about how early, our students are able to come onto campus.
Yeah, great question. So our high schools all have 0 periods. High school typically begins at 8:30 and 0 period usually starts around 7:20, 7:30. So in the cafeterias where we provide the free breakfasts for our students, usually opens around 7 a.m. So campuses are open usually pretty early. Custodial staff, they report to campus usually around 6 a.m. So campuses are open as early as 6, but they start to be more supervised around 6:45, 7 in the morning. Our junior highs start at 7 or 8 a.m. And their campuses are usually open at 7 a.m. for breakfast as well, with admin supervision really becoming more deeply involved closer to 7:30. But yeah, our campuses are open early for families that drop students off, so they don't have to wait outside. They can come inside.
Thank you for that. Pamela Pasno, are you able to unmute and ask your question?
Oh, yes. Good afternoon to everyone. I just want to ask because my child is transferee and she is new there in school and she doesn't have a Chromebook yet. I don't know if it's related to the discussion, but I wanted to know where can I get those Chromebook for her?
What school is your child attend?
She's grade 8 here in Brookhurst.
Okay. If you could do me a favor, I'm gonna put my I don't know, Araceli, if you can in the chat, or can you put my email address in the chat for mom? Mom, when you get the email address, shoot me an email with your student's name, and then I'll follow up with Brookhurst tomorrow, and they'll work to get her a Chromebook.
Okay. I will write down your email. Sorry, I didn't get because the line was cut. Will I able to give my email to you or you will give your email to
Well, I'm
me?
gonna give you my email, and you can email me.
Yeah,
Okay.
how about, I don't think we have a chat to be able to do
Okay.
that, but Miss Pamela, what you can do, if you go to that resource page, my email is on there. So if you email
Resource
me,
page.
I will go ahead and forward it to Dr. Freed so that he can help with that.
Yep.
Resource page.
Yes. It's if you scan this QR code that's on this slide right now, it'll
Okay.
take you to a resource page and there you will find my email.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss. Our
Yes.
staff.
Pamela, if you're having any challenges with the resource page or finding the email, you could also just contact the administrative team at Berkers, and
That's
they
the
would
wrong one,
obviously
actually.
help you as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
I wrote your name down, so I can also follow up with the principal tomorrow as well. Because we can look your
thanks.
daughter up based on your name.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you
that's
so much.
actually, yeah, that's the wrong page, but we'll fix that.
Yeah, that was my fault. That was the wrong
Oh.
document that I displayed, but it is the right QR code. No, that
Oh,
was
I
that was
see.
me. Yeah, if you
Okay.
open up a QR code, it's the right one. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right, okay, Ms. Guadalupe Hernandez, can you unmute? Okay, I think you're ready.
Sí, buenas tardes. Soy su hijo de la señora Guadalupe,
Okay,
José Carlos. Y quería hacer una pregunta sobre lo que estaba escuchando la junta ahorita. Mamá está en otra junta ahorita, pero quería saber la situación de lo que estaban diciendo de ICE. Ya ve que van llegando como carros de mudanzas y se aparecieron así. ¿Qué podemos hacer? Porque ya ve, hasta eso ya se están escondiendo y la gente no sabe. Es como una sorpresa agarrando a la gente.
so déjeme traducir su pregunta y ahorita la contestamos. So his
Okay.
question is, we know that in some cases ICE agents are driving up in like moving vans or like U-Haul vans, so they're not identified as ICE, vehicles. So what can we do to just stay safe, right? What are some things that we can do to be able to be prepared for something like that?
That's a great question. I think going back to the town halls that we've had on Know Your Rights, there's been a lot of good suggestions that have been provided by our community partners from the lawyers and advocates and nonprofits that are obviously have a lot of information and knowledge in terms of the rights of undocumented folks. So going back to the red cards and knowing your rights and not having to answer questions, also contacting a immigrations lawyer and having someone that you can connect with and just in case. So some of those steps to follow. Araceli, are there any documents that, aside from the red cards, that would next steps or things that they could have in place besides the caregiver affidavit and all that, but like suggestions in terms of the folks to contact, like lawyers to contact if in case anyone were to be detained, that they could have? Is that on the
Yes.
they
So
scan this?
on our resource on our immigration website, we have a list of vetted attorneys that they can contact. But what I'll do also the next time I attend the Orange County Immigration Coalition meeting, I will ask one of the attorneys to see if there's any like one pager that can tell us just how do we how can we stay safe, or what can we do in an event that something like that may happen, to see if they have a quick little one pager with new information, right? So that, and then whatever resources we get, we will add to our immigration website. But there is a list of attorneys that they can contact, and many times these are attorneys working pro bono cases, so there might not be a cost, but it also could be a low cost for these services based on income as well. And then there is another question regarding the marching band competitions. Are these safe to attend?
Yeah, and like our large events, marching band events, our football games that happen in the evening, we have campus safety aides, we have school resource officers, we have our Orange County what's the organization?
OCPS, Orange County Public Safety.
Public Safety. Thank you.
Orange County Public Safety.
They are at events, and they are obviously keeping the safety of our students in our community, as a priority. So, and they are aware of what's happening in our community and are prepared to respond.
Okay. There is a question around again, sports, and when students are being dropped off back at their school sites. Would it be possible to go into the neighborhoods to drop off the students rather than dropping them off at the school sites? So I know that may be difficult, but I wanted to read that question.
We can follow it with transportation when we have that meeting. I think the meeting's either tomorrow or Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think Kenny Perez has done a good job of answering some of those questions. Oh, we do have one more. Calamba Garcia, do you have another question? Okay, not sure if she's able to unmute. Gloria, do you have a question? Can you unmute now?
Yes, I can. It's
Sí, ¿me
not so much.
escuchan?
Oh, señora García, vamos a darle la oportunidad a Gloria y ahorita regresamos con usted.
Ay, ¿qué pasó?
It's not a question, just an input regarding the guy who asked about the movers. Just a little bit of insight to stay always alert. And another thing is, if anyone comes to your place, don't open the door. You know whether you have people coming in or out. So the best thing to do is don't open the door to anyone, just for your own safety.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And that is part of the Know Your Rights presentation that we have linked on that resource page. Thank you, Gloria. Okay, Calamba, are you able to unmute now? She might be having trouble with technology. Calamba, are you able to unmute? ¿Se puede? Okay, ya.
¿Me escuchan?
Sí. Sí, sí la
Bueno.
escuchamos. Sí la escuchamos.
Ah, disculpe. Lo que quería agregar acerca de mi pregunta, la misma pregunta que hice hace rato. Como dijo el señor, como nos están sorprendiendo por diferentes maneras, eso es lo que a mí en lo personal me da mucho pendiente. Lo que la escuela también me ofreció es que mi hija estudiara en línea, aquí en casa, pero en lo personal no sé, ni ella quiere y ni yo quiero, porque ella se queda sola y como está sola, no hay ruido, se me duerme. Entonces no es lo mismo a que ella vaya presencial a que sea en línea. Es por eso que les pedimos, por favor, si nos pudieran apoyar con el base escolar. Yo estaría más contenta, que mi hija está segura que va a la escuela, la bajan hasta allá y yo en lo personal también, y que está recibiendo la educación adecuada, pues como debería de ser, pues.
Sí,
Si se
gracias.
pudiera, por favor.
Sí, voy a traducir su comentario. So just in reference to why she was asking the question about transportation, she knows that she has options to enroll her daughter in online or virtual learning. However, she also knows that that's not the best environment for her, and neither her or her daughter want to do, virtual learning. So she would rather be in school, be present, be engaged. And so that's why she's really, hoping that we can help with the transportation concern so that she feels more comfortable knowing that her daughter is safe at school and being dropped off, close to home, and not have to worry about that while she gets an appropriate education in person. Okay. And so I thought I saw one more hand up, but I don't see that person anymore. So, Candida, I had seen Candida with the hand up. No? Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hernandez to close us off.
Yeah, thank you. We again thank you so very much for asking all of these questions, being very diligent, very caring, very compassionate towards each other when asking these questions and thinking about each other. We are supporting each other. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this, and we have to, because our students deserve to thrive in this beautiful community that we have, that we live in. And so we thank you for being a part of our community to help support the safe and secure schools. Continue to be involved. Do not allow that fear to get the best of us. Yes, it's concerning, and we will get through this. Thank you again for being with us tonight. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you very much.